Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2, part 2 of the Ruthless Aggression Era podcast here in the UK with your host. My name's Dave.
My name's CJ.
So this is part 2 of our coverage between Vengeance and Summerslam of the Raw and Smackdowns. In part 1, we covered the first 2 episodes of Raw and 2 episodes of Smackdown.
Well, I'm just really enjoying it. Full stop with doing the Ruthless Aggression Era. The product back then is just 10 times better than what we've got today. I've just been watching a couple of the episodes, and even the theme music. I'm enjoying the theme music, the SmackDown one. I don't know who it is that does it, but really enjoying it. And just better production overall for Raw as well. I'm just thoroughly enjoying it.
I think it just feels like they cared a little bit more back then, with stuff like production and just your basics. I know obviously these days they've tried being a bit fancy with like the LED lighting around the ring and on the ring posts and stuff, and you've obviously got now the new stage areas for Raw and SmackDown, but it's been stale for years.
I'd agree with that completely.
It's been stale for absolutely years. But the production values back then, like you just covered, then even with the theme musics to the programs to Raw and SmackDown, they were both just on point.
Yeah, completely on point, and the matches themselves and the storylines. I'm not going to use the word I always use, but I would just say you want to watch it. You are truly investors to the shows.
Massively. So let's get on then with Raw. It's the 5th of August. It's Raw is Jericho. Chris Jericho, he comes out after his surprise appearance on Raw last week, attacking Ric Flair. He welcomes everyone to Monday Night Jericho. It doesn't really work compared to his usual Raw is Jericho little stick. Jericho explains why he jumped to Raw, and suddenly Triple H's music hits. Triple H comes out. He's looking to find out who did Shawn Michaels in last week. Jericho thinks or says to Triple H, "Could it be you? Could you done it?" Triple H, he said he still considers Michaels his best friend. He says he was in the ring when Shawn was attacked, so how could it have been him? He says that he will not leave the arena until he finds out who attacked his best friend, and Triple H goes backstage. Jericho starts his ranting again, but he's interrupted again. This time, Rob Van Dam's music hit, and Rob Van Dam enters the ring. This sets up, there's a bit of a promo back and forth, and this sets up a match a bit later on in the card. First match of the evening, we've got a tables match between the Big Show and Bubba Ray Dudley. Bubba got the victory. Then we lead to a hardcore title match, where Tommy Dreamer against Big Texas Bradshaw. Dreamer eventually picks up the victory, retaining the hardcore title, and he leads through the ring, through the crowd, very DDP-esque with all the fans. And then we go backstage. Get ready for this, CD. You're going to absolutely love this. We have William Regal and Chris Nowinski, with Molly Holly introducing her best friend, Victoria, who makes her debut on Monday Night Raw. Victoria, they have a little bit of a back and forth. Then Chris asks Victoria if it's true, if Molly Holly is still a virgin. Victoria says that it is true. So Chris Nowinski looks at William Regal and says, "Not for long," and the duo share a mischievous grin.
Minor erection comes to mind. That Molly Holly's supposedly a virgin. I highly doubt that. I'm sure she's in her fare of the old sausage. But yeah, I'm slightly invested in this, to be honest. I want to see where this goes.
So leads on to our next match, which we've got a bit of a USA versus Canada feel to it. We've got everyone's favourite Canadian Test against Sergeant Slaughter. Test brutally attacks Sarge before the match. He leaves Sarge laid out at ringside. Test backs up the ramp, waving his upside-down USA flag. Match ends no contest. Not needed, but just another way of pushing along the anti-Americans, who are getting quite the push.
Are they going to do something with Test? I'm just getting sick of him. Honest to God, all the matches I've been watching, from when he's been on SmackDown to when he goes on Raw, he's just an arsehole. He literally is just an arsehole. Are they going to do something with him? Are they going to actually, every time you see him, he comes on my screen, I get pissed off. Not in a like, oh God, I don't like this guy. It's just genuine hate for the guy.
X-Pac heat.
Yeah. Genuinely.
The Test is not one of CJ's boys. Right, so that leads us to a tag team match. We've got Booker T and Goldust against Chris Nowinski and William Regal. It's the weirdos against the perverts. Booker T picks up the win for his team. We have an advert break, cut back from the adverts, and we have Trish Stratus against Victoria making her in-ring debut. Molly Holly joins JR and King on the announce table. A few minutes into the match, Victoria stops and falls to the mat. Victoria suffers an apparent knee injury. Earl Hebner and a trainer race down to check on Victoria. As Victoria is helped from the ring, Trish holds the ropes open. Victoria stands up and kicks Trish straight in the face. A few minutes later, Victoria gets the pinfall while holding the ropes to win a debut match on Raw against Trish Stratus, which is not many people knew of Victoria before this. But yeah, debut match on Raw, beats Trish Stratus. Pretty damn decent.
Did she have some sort of fitness thing going off with Trish Stratus at some point? I read along lines that. So is that fake or?
Are we talking kayfabe or real life?
Real life.
I'm not sure.
So you fans can tell us that. I don't know the answer to that. Neither does Dave.
Send us a tweet if you do. So I've got no idea. Holy mother of God. We have got the Un-Americans, Christian and Lance Storm, against Matt and Jeff. The Hardy Boys are back together and they're going for tag team gold. Oh, yeah. Raw's just turned it up a notch.
The front door.
Raw has just turned it up a notch. So I say the Hardys are back together, first time in quite a while. And after quite a hard-fought match, Jeff hits a Swanton Bomb on Lance Storm. The Hardys were just about to get the pin when Christian pulls the referee out of the ring and the referee disqualifies the Un-Americans. Bit of a horrible one for me, this. Love the Hardy Boys, but Christian and Lance Storm, I feel like an Un-American myself. So I'm very on the fence for that much, but thoroughly enjoyed that match. And then we get to the main event. So the main event is Chris Jericho versus Rob Van Dam. Ric Flair makes a surprise run-in and whacks Jericho with a steel chair. Absolute grim shot as well with a steel chair. Rob Van Dam hits 5-star frog splash and pins Jericho. Flair looks back at Jericho from the ring, strutting back and forward on the Raw stage. And then we go to another advert break, and as we come back, we've got Eric Bischoff in the ring with Triple H. Triple H wastes no time to hear what Bischoff's got to say. Bischoff says he's got a surprise for Triple H. He says he set up a satellite so Triple H can talk to Shawn Michaels, who was in San Antonio, looking all bruised and battered. Triple H asks Shawn how he's doing. Shawn says he's doing okay for a guy who got his head thrown through a car window. Triple H says he feels bad about what happened, and Shawn says that he and Triple H are cool and still best friends. But then we cut to the CCTV footage, which shows a very blurry man attacking Shawn Michaels. Triple H says, it's a shame that the quality is not good. Shawn Michaels says, well, in this modern era, we're able to find out exactly who it is. The image stops being blurry into a clear picture, and you see it's Triple H. Triple H he looks shocked, and then this big grin comes on his face, and he just goes, "You're damn right I did it, Shawn." And he just goes into a little rant. And obviously that sets up, Shawn Michaels says the doctor said he's not healthy yet, but he's healthy for, let's say, Summerslam, and the crowd go wild to end Raw as Shawn Michaels is making his return to the ring against Triple H. Beat that SmackDown.
Woo! You are hot stuff, Raw. Okay, guys, so we're on to the August the 8th, 2002 SmackDown show. Now, just before I go through the results for this SmackDown show, I just want to show you the quality they have for the prior show, which is Velocity.
Oh.
I just want to go through this because I do find it quite funny in a strange sort of way. Just listen to the match they've got going on. So Velocity starts, backstage, Rico and Mark Lloyd and Hardcore Holly are there as well. Rico is styling Mark Lloyd's hair when Bob Holly enters. Rico tells Holly to take a hike, that it's his work to do. Holly takes a set of shearers and shaves off a small piece of Rico's hair. Yeah. So that's a little bit of Velocity. I'm not going to go all the way into all the matches, but that's the quality of the dark shows that's the WWE are coughing up here just before SmackDown. So just a little snippet there for you.
And for those that don't remember Velocity, it was like what it would now be classed as main event, but on a really bad level. Yeah, like you got your Z-listers. Like, let's say, to try and compare it to modern day, Zack Ryder would be a main eventer. That were the levels of Velocity. And can I just point in, as you just covered with Rico then, I don't know if you've seen it yourself, I've read it on the internet, Rico set up a GoFundMe page. He's quite ill at the minute, needs a lot of medical care, retired from wrestling obviously many years ago. So if any listeners out there remember Rico, want to help him out, just Google GoFundMe WB Rico and you'll get straight to his page. Give the guy a couple of quid, or if it's America, a couple of dollars, let's get him sorted out because I thought Rico was pretty damn good in the ring.
Yeah, good point, though, actually. Good point, because there's people like, such as, I don't know, Hulk Hogan, yeah? Hulk Hogan's had that many hip replacements, that many surgeries. He's been able to afford it. He's a millionaire, or he was a millionaire. He's been able to afford all this. People like Rico, obviously, he wasn't a main eventer.
Nowhere near millionaires.
Yeah, so he couldn't afford the healthcare out there in the US. And another couple of people that are actually on that Velocity show, just out of interest, Bull Buchanan and Mike Awesome are on that show.
Mike
Awesome's there in Velocity.
Wow.
That's a bit of a kick to the balls, if you will, have Mike Awesome on Velocity.
The fat chick thriller.
Yeah.
Wow. Mike Awesome. That's a whole entire episode in itself.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going straight on to the opening match. Kurt Angle versus John Cena.
Here we go.
Oh, late in the match, which was back and forth excitement, Cena throws Angle outside the ring and waits in the middle of the ring. Suddenly, Chris Benoit appears out of nowhere and puts Cena in the crippler crossface.
Get in.
The referee sees this and calls for the bell. Rey Mysterio runs down and hits Benoit with a Hurricane Rana, then slingshots Benoit over the top rope. Eddie Guerrero runs in behind Rey and hammers Rey. Eddie then nails a spinning neckbreaker on Rey. Edge runs down to make the save, hitting the execution on Guerrero. Edge follows up with a spear on Angle, knocking him off the ring apron. Edge, Rey and Cena celebrate in the ring as Angle, Benoit and Guerrero retreat. So we're really going back towards when we were in the steel cage, really.
Yeah.
Obviously take away the anti-Americans and put in Eddie Guerrero and Benoit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I shouldn't be dissing my own show, but I'm getting a bit sick of it already. Stop doing the run-downs.
Did John Cena win that match via disqualification then?
I would think so.
So does that mean since the start of the Ruthless Aggression Era podcast, Cena is now 5-0? And that's taken into account, listeners. The 5-0 is the SmackDown before Vengeance, because we do mention that in Vengeance because it's quite the build-up to Cena Jericho. So since the SmackDown before, up to now, John Cena's undefeated.
Oh my God! Keep counting, guys. So what's that? We're on 5.
5-0. 5-0 for Cena since we started.
So we go backstage. Mark Lloyd and Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle. Lloyd asks Benoit and Guerrero why they left Raw for SmackDown. Guerrero says that they're the homies who were beating Hogan and Rock last week. Guerrero calls Benoit the master of submission. Kurt Angle jumps in and says that nobody makes people tap like Kurt Angle. Kurt says that he is the master of submission. Kurt says that he was about to make Cena tap if Benoit and Guerrero didn't butt in. Chris jumps in and says that Angle was about to get counted out. Chris says that this is why he and Guerrero like SmackDown, because of the competition. Angle takes offense and indirectly challenges Benoit. Guerrero stops Angle and says the three of them should team up tonight against Cena, Edge and Rey. Angle agrees and Benoit and Guerrero leave. So that's already set up the main event for tonight. And that's pretty big blockbuster main event, if you ask me. Those 6 guys in there. It's like the up and coming talent versus the prime time guys at the moment.
Yeah.
Edge, Mysterio, Cena, Guerrero, Benoit, Angle. In with the new, out with the old.
Definitely.
Okay, so then we're on to the next match is Mark Henry versus Devon with Batista. Reverend Devon with Batista. Wow. I'm really wondering where it's going with these two, to be honest, Devon and Batista.
A lot of TV time.
Yeah, I want to know what it's going to lead to, though. This is quite, I'm quite excited to see where this actually goes with these two. Henry wins after a power slam. Batista attacks from the behind after the match, so he keeps doing this. Batista and Devon double team Henry and set up for the What's Up drop. Rikishi runs down and makes a save, throwing Devon and Batista out of the ring. Devon holds Batista back from getting into the ring. Rikishi gets on the microphone and tells Devon to let him go. Batista hits the ring, and we have a match. So Batista is getting a match now.
Is this Batista's in-ring debut?
This might be,
It could be.
Against Rikishi. Okay, so Devon tries to interfere but accidentally punches Batista. Rikishi follows up with a pin, giving Batista his first loss in the WWE. There you go. Rikishi leaves the ring and celebrates. Batista confronts Devon.
Oh, dissension.
Oh. Okay, so we go backstage. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Brock tells Heyman that he's going to Hulk Hogan's dressing room. Heyman tries to talk him out of it. We go to a commercial break, and then after, Brock enters Hogan's dressing room and finds Hogan standing there. Brock asks Hogan if this is what he really wants. Hogan says that Brock is still very young. Hogan says that if he was Brock, he would put it all on the line. Hogan says that if he was Brock, he'd put his title shot on the line tonight. Brock agrees and leaves with Heyman.
Oh dear.
Heyman goes nuts, yelling at Brock for letting Hogan play him. Brock yells back, suggesting Heyman has lost confidence in him. Brock leaves and Heyman storms through a set of doors. Wait, what's going on in the background? Tori and Nydia, Jamie Noble and Billy Kidman. Tori and Nydia are on the floor having a cat fight. Noble pulls Tori off Nydia, but only disrobes her. The battle continues. Noble pulls Tori off again, and Billy Kidman attacks Noble. Referee pulls Tori and Nydia plus Kidman and Noble apart. Then we go to the tag match. Hurricane and Shannon Moore versus Billy and Chuck with Rico.
Wow.
Oh,
Hurricane
God.
and two of them. Was it two of the three members of 3 Count?
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Where's Evan Courageous?
Evan Courageous, he was the most over guy in 3 Count, wasn't he?
Yeah, Evan Courageous. Only thing I ever remember about Evan Courageous was his battle with what was it, Medusa over Cruiserweight title.
And his ridiculously ripped 6-pack. He was ripped, that guy.
And when they had, what was he, Tank? Was it Tank Abbott? When
Tank Abbott.
He joined them.
He was in the ex-UFC, wasn't he? Yeah, I know. Shocking. So we go to the tag match: Hurricane and Shannon Moore versus Billy and Chuck with Rico. Who do you think wins this one, Dave?
Billy and Chuck with Rico.
Shannon Moore picks up a surprise pinfall over Chuck.
Shannon Moore. Wow.
Oh my God! They tried to.
They tried.
Do something. Yeah, they tried. They give him makeup and a weird hairstyle, but that didn't go very well.
Oh yeah, it was like 05, 06 when he was all punky on ECW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor guy. We go backstage again. John Cena, Edge, and Rey Mysterio. Cena, Edge, and Rey talk about their match tonight. Rey says that he will take care of Kurt Angle tonight. So Rey is saying he's going to duo Angle.
Oh.
Then we go on to the 6-man tag match. Edge, John Cena, and Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, and Eddie Guerrero. Rey pins Angle after a long, hard fought, action-packed, high-paced match. Brilliant, awesome match. I can't go into full detail because I'd probably be boring you all, but some of the moves they had in that and the chemistry they've got in the ring really makes you think that SmackDown's going to be good for a good couple of months now. Getting very interested. So the backstage segment with Jamie Noble and Nydia, Billy Kidman and Tori was for the fact that they were going to have a mixed tag team match.
Oh, all right. So it wasn't pointless.
No. Nydia pins Tori with a schoolgirl roll-up.
Wow.
So we go to the main event of the night for SmackDown. It is Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman against Hulk Hogan, brother. Brock defeats Hogan with a bear hug submission. Hogan bleeds from the mouth. Brock and Heyman start to leave, but Brock decides to come back. Brock gets a steel chair from ringside and enters the ring again. Hogan struggles to his feet, only to have Lesnar smash the chair over his head. And again, reiterating what you said on Raw, the chair shot was quite harsh.
Oh, they're grim. They're absolutely grim in this era.
However, Hogan does put his hand up. You can see, whenever Hogan takes a chair shot, you just watch his hands.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he knows all the tricks on how not to get hurt.
Hogan is busted open and blooded by the chair shot. The crowd chants for The Rock, who isn't in attendance. Brock leaves again and again returns to the ring to grab Hogan's bloody head and yell at him. Brock wipes Hogan's blood across his own chest. SmackDown goes off the air.
Is it the end of Hulk Hogan?
Is it?
Could it be?
Is that, I mean, Hulk Hogan going against the guy that they're pushing to the moon at the moment, that's just like another. You can really see leading to SummerSlam, they're trying to get Brock over.
Oh, yeah.
Make him look like an absolute beast.
As I mentioned in part 1, SmackDown is very much the Brock Lesnar show, and they are using the best in their arsenal to get Brock Lesnar over. They are pushing Lesnar to the moon. That leads us on. It's the 12th of August now. This is going to be quite quick, me running through this, guys, and I'll tell you why. This Raw was ridiculously segment heavy. I'm not going to cover them all because most of them included people like Howard Finkel, and there was just far too much Eric Bischoff. I'll just cover the main points, but it just felt so much like watching an episode of Nitro. It's just, Raw is, you can tell, you can see now, watch it, going through, we've gone through, 3 episodes of each, of Raw and SmackDown, and there's such a difference in the shows. But anyway, it's the so it's the 12th of August. We have a pretty awesome segment to start. To be fair, Heyman and Lesnar come out. Lesnar's wearing a Hulkamania shirt. He enters the arena through the crowd. They reveal a pair of front row tickets as a two take a seat at ringside. Triple H comes out for an in-ring promo about Michaels and what he's going to do to him at SummerSlam. Then The Rock comes out and he taunts Brock Lesnar. Brock jumps the rail, distracts The Rock, where Triple H can nail The Rock from behind. Then we cut to first backstage segment of the night, where we've got Eric Bischoff and The Rock. The Rock is demanding Eric to give him Brock Lesnar. Eric says Brock has already left the building and it doesn't even work for Raw. Rock says that if he can't have Brock, then he wants Triple H. Eric says that the match is too big to just throw together on Raw. Rock says, Eric, make it happen or else. So then we get to another backstage segment. So it's 2 segments before even a match. We've got Spike Dudley and Chris Nowinski. Chris is trying to find out if Spike has had sex with Molly when they dated. Spike decides that it's none of Chris's business. Chris Nowinski says that he will soon make Molly his valedictorian.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely awesome. I'm loving these backstage moments of the bit. And then guess what we get for, I believe this is 3 Raws out of 4. We have yet another intergender match. This time.
Where are they going with these?
This time we have Trish Stratus with Spike Dudley against...
What? What?
Anyway, Chris Nowinski ends up pinning Spike Dudley for the win. It's Chris Nowinski and Molly Holly, by the way. And then we get to a proper match. It's Lance Storm with Christian versus Booker T with Goldust and Mini Dust. Can you remember Mini Dust at all?
Yes. He was awesome. I loved Mini Dust.
Late in the match, Christian trips Booker from the outside. Goldust runs around the ring and takes Christian out, but Booker T quickly recovers and he pins Lance Storm. In the ring, we've got Mini Dust. Let's say Eric Bischoff comes out. Guess what he's about to do?
Oh no, it's not going to get a warning, is it?
Guess how many minutes?
Oh my God, Mini Dust gets a 3-minute warning.
So the Island Boys come out. They absolutely squash Mini Dust. One of the guys gives Mini Dust a top rope power slam that looks... it looked very painful. It looked very painful. Bischoff pretends to scold the Island Boys, saying that they went too far. He then says it's time for some real entertainment. Bischoff introduces his latest stolen talent from SmackDown, Stacy Keibler.
Oh.
Stacy comes out and dances for the crowd.
Thank God. Good. I'm glad you've got her. She was honest. I'm glad you've got her. I'm glad here in the backstage session with Stephanie McMahon were boring me, so you're more than welcome to her.
Right, so we get to another tag team match. It's very tag team match heavy, this. We're getting all the stars on before SummerSlam. We've got Chris Jericho and The Big Show. This is 4 years before Jerry Show against Ric Flair and Bubba Dudley.
What?
So we've got 2002 Jerry Show against Ric Flair and Bubba Dudley. Now let's just talk about for a minute the Dudley split. You've had Devon, who's been on every episode of SmackDown. I know he's been in like nonsensical matches like against Rikishi, but something's happening with Batista. You can smell it. Something's coming. But Bubba's lost at minute, and he's here, there, and everywhere. He's in intergender match 1 week. Next week he's in a tag team match with partner Ric Flair. Anyway, Jericho makes Bubba Ray tap out the Lion Tamer, so he also loses.
The ironic thing is, though, out of the Dudley boys, Bubba Ray Dudley is obviously the better person out of that tag team.
Better performer. Always been a better performer on the mic, better performer just in the ring. But Bubba Ray Dudley is very much like Kevin Owens, where he'll talk when he's playing heel. He'll talk to the crowd and he'll wind the crowd up while he's still wrestling.
Yeah.
Like he'll pick up on comments and he'll pick up on chants and he'll comment back. He's got that sort of that he always had. I've always seen that in Kevin Owens. That sort of that Bubba Ray Dudley heel persona. And then we cut to our next match, which is the hardcore title. We've got every week a hardcore title match, and every week it revolves around Tommy Dreamer. It's Tommy Dreamer versus Steven Richards, ladies and gentlemen. He won the match with an absolute brutal. I'll find the link and I'll post it to one of our social media accounts, guys. Awful, brutal headshot. I'm starting to look like I remember looking back as a kid. I would have loved these. I would have loved them. But now looking back as a 31-year-old man, it's a bit sickening.
Well, I always wondered what the chairs were made of. I didn't know whether they were That's the one question. I know, obviously, it's been proven.
They're all gimmicked, aren't they? But from what I used to always think with steel chairs, they were like a stronger version of like a pie, like a tinfoil pie tin case.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
people sit on him.
So then it leads us to the next match of the night, which is Rob Van Dam versus Jeff Hardy. This was a great back and forth match. It looked like Jeff Hardy was going to get the victory until Matt appeared, his brother. It looked like, well, the JR bigged it up that it was going to help Jeff, but he spun Jeff around and delivered the twist of fate. This then allowed Rob Van Dam to hit the 5-star frog splash and claim the victory. We then get a commercial break before the main event of the evening. When we come back, we have a backstage segment, an interview with the Un-Americans discussing the main event for this evening. We then cut to Bischoff storming into the production truck to speak to Kevin Dunn. He wants to know that during the commercial break, there was an advert for SmackDown. He thinks Kevin Dunn's responsible. He says that, no, it's Stephen McMahon. He says if Stephen McMahon wants to advertise main events, he's got a main event for you. Next week on Monday Night Raw, it is Triple H versus The Rock. So then that leads us into the main event. It was set by Bischoff earlier this evening. You've got the Un-Americans of Christian, Lance Storm and Test teaming with Triple H against The Undertaker, The Rock, Booker T and Goldust. Now this match was surprisingly won by Test. Undertaker was trying to deliver a last ride to Christian. Test appeared and delivered a big boot. JR absolutely screamed over and over again. He lost his shit that Test had beaten The Undertaker. And then Raw goes off the air with JR bigging up the main event for next week. But then he gets a little bit confused and keeps saying over and over again, what a SummerSlam, what a SummerSlam. And then he gets himself back in the game and says, what a Monday Night Raw, as Raw goes off the air.
Okay, so August 15th, 2002, SmackDown edition. We open it up with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Heyman talks about Hogan bleeding from the mouth, fighting for his last breath on Raw. Heyman says nobody has been man enough to end Hulk Hogan's career until now. Heyman says that Hulk Hogan was merely a stepping stone in Lesnar's career. Heyman says that Brock did that to send a message to The Rock. Heyman says that the blood of Hulkamania is on Brock Lesnar's hands. Heyman says that the people's blood will be on Brock Lesnar's hands at SummerSlam. Lesnar takes the microphone and says that he will end The Rock's title reign at SummerSlam. Suddenly, Rikishi's music hits, and Rikishi comes out to the ring. Heyman tries to stop Rikishi, but Rikishi enters the ring. Heyman says that their match is scheduled for later, and he won't let them fight now. Rikishi snatches the microphone from Heyman. Rikishi says that he's going to make Lesnar kiss that ass.
Oh, dear.
Lesnar attacks Rikishi, but Rikishi fights back and throws Brock out of the ring. Rikishi turns the attention to Paul Heyman. Rikishi sets Heyman up for the stink face, but Lesnar pulls Heyman from the ring.
Is Rikishi still doing the same shtick in 2002?
Yeah, but it's over, innit? Everybody loves it still. They all.
No, we don't. I don't. Anyway, I never did. I liked Rikishi when he was just Fatu, when he was in the head shrinkers. That was when Rikishi was at his best. Not this thong-wearing fatty. Nah.
Oh, God.
Nah.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Never
because I do disagree with you. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to get into it. 6-man tag team match: Hurricane, Shannon Moore, and Hardcore Holly. Hardcore Holly, what is it? They're not doing much with him, are they? Billy, Chuck, and Rico. Chuck pins Shannon Moore after some confusion. Rico, Chuck, Billy triple team Moore after the match. Hurricane and Holly come in to make the save. Suddenly, Matt Hardy's music hits, and Matt runs down to the ring to help out. Wait. Matt Hardy is on Raw.
Matt Hardy is on Raw.
Was Raw.
Oh.
So that sort of makes sense, but obviously when he was on Raw, he attacked Jeff Hardy. So I'd like to know why he attacked Jeff Hardy, but we may find out. Matt Hardy hugs Hurricane and Shannon Moore. He and shakes Molly's hand. Matt Hardy has defected to SmackDown.
Wow.
So sorry, it's not Molly's hand, it's Holly's hand, sorry. Holly is on Raw. I said Molly, it is Holly. Hardcore Holly. So Matt Hardy has defected to SmackDown. I'm glad he has, to be honest. Shake things up for him. You can't have both Hardys on the same show against each other.
Tag team.
Yeah, they've got to be separate if they're not a tag team.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go backstage. Matt Hardy, Hurricane, Shannon Moore, and Hardcore Holly. The 4 wrestlers are celebrating backstage. Matt talks about making the save for the trio. Matt says that SmackDown is definitely ready for Matt Hardy. Version 1. Hurricane, Moore, and Holly don't look so impressed. Okay, so we go backstage. Stephanie McMahon is with Chris Benoit. Steph says she can't believe how her staff screwed up. Steph says that she knows Chris will defeat RVD at SummerSlam. Steph requests that Chris makes RVD tap out. Steph tells Chris that she's giving him The Rock tonight. Chris says that he'll make The Rock squeal tonight. Then we go on to a match: Kurt Angle versus Mark Henry. I tell you what, Henry's getting in all the matches, isn't he? He's getting every week. He's having a match.
Quite.
Henry eventually hurts his ankle, and Kurt goes right after it. A few minutes later, Kurt locks the ankle lock onto Henry's ankle. Henry counters, sending Kurt Angle flying out the ring. Henry fights back and hits a gorilla press slam on Angle. Angle counters a body slam and once again locks the ankle lock on Henry. Henry taps out, but Angle keeps a hold on for a few additional seconds. Rey Mysterio runs down and hits the top rope Hurricane Rana on Angle. Angle flips off awkwardly, splitting the top of his head open hard way. Rey follows up with a slingshot kick, sending Angle to the back. So we're setting up there for SummerSlam, I think. It's going to be Rey Mysterio and Kurt Angle.
It's looking that way. You can't complain at that, to be fair.
No, especially those two. That would be a cracking match. So we go on to the next match, Rikishi versus Brock Lesnar.
God.
So I think we all know what's going to happen here. I think Rikishi is going to get absolutely annihilated.
They're giving the big men to Brock as well, aren't they? He's had Mark Henry a couple of weeks. Rikishi. It's another marketing ploy of look at our new big man.
Yeah, the next person he needs to take out is probably the Big Show.
Yeah,
that's going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rikishi versus Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. Late in the match, Heyman tries to interfere. Rikishi splashes Heyman into the corner of the ring. Rikishi sets up for the stink face. Lesnar sneaks up behind Rikishi. Rikishi turns around and Savat kicks Lesnar in the chin. Rikishi does the stink face on a screaming Heyman. Lesnar gets back up and attacks Rikishi. Lesnar hits the big F5 on Rikishi and gets the pin. So we go next. We've got an interview for Funaki and Nidia and Devon and Batista. Funaki doing an audition tape for the position of SmackDown interviewer. Funaki talking slowly, asking Nidia about her match with Tori Wilson. Nidia would rather talk about her own breasts and butt. In the background, we hear a major argument going on. Nidia forces Funaki to touch her breasts. Suddenly, Reverend Devon comes flying through a door, followed by Batista. Batista looks down at Devon and says, "There's your respect." Oh, right, okay. And then we got a Devon match. Tori Wilson with Billy Kidman versus Nidia with Jamie Noble by her side. Noble and Kidman eventually get involved. While the referee is holding Kidman back, Noble runs into the ring. Noble hits a big clothesline on Tori. Nidia covers up for the pin. Crash! A fire still burn. Kane's pyro and music hits, but Kane does not appear. So we go to the next one. It's a tag team match. Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Eddie and Chavo Guerrero. Late in the match, Angle comes out of nowhere and attacks Rey Mysterio. The referee calls disqualification, and all hell breaks loose again. Angle brings Rey into the ring and puts an ankle lock on him. Chavo kicks Rey in the face for good measure. Edge runs in and makes the save. Same old, same old.
Why can't these guys just have a match that has a finish that's A, not dusty, and B, doesn't involve half the fucking mid-card?
Yeah, it's getting boring.
It's getting repetitive.
It's, I like it. You do it once, but don't do it 3 or 4 times. Every single SmackDown now. Edge, Mysterio, Cena, they're all getting involved. They're all running in. And it's just annoying. Okay, so now we're going into an interview with Mark Lloyd and the People's Champion, The Rock. Lloyd asks Rock about the rabid Wolverine Chris Benoit. Footage of Rock tapping out to the crossface. Typical Rock promo harassing Lloyd and blah, blah, blah. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. Rock tells Brock to just bring it, bitch. Just for the kids. So we go into the last match of the main event, non-title match, The Rock Undisputed Champ versus Chris Benoit, the Intercontinental Champion. After an exciting back and forth match, Benoit hits a flying headbutt on The Rock. Rock kicks out and through and fights back. Rock locks a sharpshooter on Benoit, who crawls to the ropes. Brock sets up for the People's Elbow. Brock Lesnar runs down, distracts The Rock. Benoit sneaks, attacks The Rock, and puts the crippler crossface on The Rock. Brock stays at ringside in full view of The Rock. Rock is about to pass out when he sees Brock and gets a burst of adrenaline. Brock fires out the crossface and hits the Rock bottom and pins Benoit.
Wow.
Brock stares at Rock from the ramp. SmackDown goes off the air.
It's just another. Let's use all the roster in the last hour of SmackDown every week. It's just let's use everybody on the roster.
Yeah, I'm starting to. I think that if this is the way it's going to go, it's going to be first 2 weeks, SmackDown has a really good 2 weeks, and then the last 3, Raw, are just going to hammer us. So I could see this happening after SummerSlam.
So it's the final episode of Raw before SummerSlam. In the ring, we've got Eric Bischoff and all the hardcore wrestlers. We've got Jeff Hardy, we've got Bradshaw, Steven Richards, Tommy Dreamer, Terry, Bubba Dudley, Johnny the Bull, Spike, and Crash Holly's here, look.
Crash showed up now, yeah?
They're all former hardcore champions. Eric Bischoff comes out and says the 24/7 rule is no more. He says they're all going to fight for the hardcore title.
Eric says, whoever's holding the title after 6 minutes will be the champion. So we've got the Battle Royal. We've got, as I say, there's Jeff Hardy, Bradshaw, Richard Dreamer, Terry. But I don't know why Terry's in there. It's just
Terry who?
Terry Runnels.
What's she in there for?
I don't know. Bubba Dudley, Johnny the Bull, Spike and Crash. Time runs out. Tommy Dreamer is your WWE Hardcore Champion. Then Crash! Kane's pyro hits. My Path is Chosen comes on the screen. Kane doesn't appear.
Oh. Why is he not appearing though? So I don't know. Why is he not appearing?
Is he SmackDown? Is he Raw? Who knows?
I'd like to say SmackDown.
So we then leads us on to we don't have an intergender match this week. We turned it up a notch. We have a mud bikini match.
Oh yes, I love a good old mud bikini match.
Well, it's Bra and Panties mud match is to give it its full title.
I do miss the Bra and Panties matches. I do miss them.
Trish Stratus versus Stacey Keibler.
Can't get any better.
Trish wins the generic Bra and Panties match roll up so you can pull off the pants. There's only one way to end this match, and that's how you end it. It's the same ending every time, but I totally agree. Bra and Panties matches, bring them back. So then we have an in-ring promo. Triple H comes out with a clipboard in hand. He wants Shawn Michaels to sign a waiver, or there'll be no match at SummerSlam. Triple H says he sent the documents to Michaels, but he hasn't received a reply. He blabbers on like he always does. Then Chris Jericho comes out to talk about his match with Flair. Jericho trash talks Ric Flair. Suddenly, Flair sneaks up behind Jericho with a trash can lid and absolutely destroys Jericho's head. Caves him in with his trash can lid. I love how brutal this build-up for Flair and Jericho is.
And it's just come out of nowhere.
They just keep coming out of nowhere and just smashing each other with weapons. It's brilliant. They're not really having much of... You get Jericho comes out, he has his little moment, but this feud is built up around them two kicking the crap out of each other. I absolutely love it. So we get a 6-man tag to go on from the follow-on from last week's main event. So we've got the Un-Americans against Undertaker, Booker T and Goldust. Undertaker seems lost in the shuffle. I know it looks like he's having a bit of a war with the Un-Americans, more specifically Test, but he seems a bit lost in this. So we've got Christian, he wins the match for the Un-Americans. He hits Goldust with one of the title belts and he picks up the win. We then get an interview segment with Terry and Ric Flair. Terry asks Flair what his announcement was 3 weeks ago. Flair says that whatever it was, it's now put on the back burner. Flair says he's focused on Chris Jericho. Then guess who appears and assaults Ric Flair from behind and beats the crap out of him? Jericho appears. Hell yeah. Flair's busted open and he's absolutely covered in blood. Nobody could bleed like Ric Flair could bleed.
No, that guy could. What? Like most wrestlers would just like blade their face, but I swear he just blades everything.
Any bit of skin that's left on Ric Flair's body, I bet there's not much that's not had a blade to it. So then we lead to the next match on the card, which is Big Show versus Rob Van Dam. Big Show fights Dirty using weapons on Rob Van Dam, wearing him down. They don't actually say that this is a no DQ match, but it must be. Big Show lifts the ring steps over his head, ready to smash Rob Van Dam. Bischoff comes out and yells at Big Show. Bischoff says Big Show has 3 minutes. Rosie and Jamal come out. This is getting stale. It's week 3. This is getting stale. Jamal and Rosie come out of the crowd, attack Big Show, lay him out.
Do you know who they remind me of? Who reminds me of those? The new tag team in NXT at the moment. The Authors of Pain.
Yeah, the Monsters of Pain or whatever they're called. Yeah.
They remind me of Rosie and Jamal.
Yeah, You're more of the NXT man than I am, to be fair. I'm not really familiar. I know they've got Paul Ellering as a manager, haven't they?
Yeah.
Is he still stuck around?
Yeah. He just stands there at the side and just shouts at them a couple of things, but he mainly stays quiet. But he must be quite old.
Oh yeah, he's got to be. He must be in his 70s, if not more. Do you think he was managing Legion of Doom years ago, back when they were the Road Warriors in like NWA, and then when they came to WWE, like 90, 91, 92, he was their manager then?
Crazy. They must be desperate to get him as a manager then.
Yeah, he's a. I remember when it came out. I remember when I read about it. It was a very odd appointment. Like, it's very similar to when Zeb Coulter came out to be Swagger's manager.
Yeah.
It was like you've got Dirty Dutch Mantel just appearing out of nowhere for years and years ago when I saw him on any form of wrestling television. They're just odd appointments. So we get an interview segment with the Coach and the Rock. I used to love the Rock, but oh my god, with the Rock and the Coach, sorry, but my god, more Rock. Rock's usual bullcrap banter with the Coach.
Coach says that he received a video from Paul Heyman today. The video shows Brock destroying everyone from Hogan to Flair to Rob Van Dam to Rikishi and so on. Rock says that after SummerSlam, Brock won't be known as the next big thing. He says after SummerSlam, Brock will be known as the next big bitch. So on stage, we have a performance from Fozzy, Jericho's little rock band. They're still performing to this day, I believe, and they're an awful, awful band.
I tell you how bad they are. They perform in a nightclub called Corporation in Sheffield. That's how bad they are.
I bet you can't guess what's going to happen. Chris Jericho's performing.
Ric Flair's going to come out.
Hell yeah! He chases the band. He goes absolutely apeshit. Chases the band off stage, and he's still covered in blood. He destroys Fozzy's equipment, and he runs down to the ring with a guitar. Jericho escapes through the crowd. Ric Flair smashes the guitar on the ring post, slinging a big piece of it into the front row, and nearly killing a fan. It was very similar to how Brock, was it a couple of years ago, where
with the car door?
Yeah, smashed up Seth Rollins' car and launched it into the crowd. So we get to our main event of the evening. It's a non-title match. We have got The Rock versus Triple H. Hell yeah. Rock versus Triple H. Main event, Monday Night Raw. Late into the match, Triple H gets his sledgehammer out and lines up The Rock. He throws the referee out of the ring, and Shawn Michaels runs down. He attacks Triple H. Brock Lesnar enters the ring. Obviously, he's been sat on the front row. HBK super kicks him straight out of the ring. Shawn Michaels is on fire. He drops to his knees, though, holding his back. Brock escapes through the crowd as The Rock chases him. But then HBK, he flies over the top rope onto Triple H. Triple H and Shawn Michaels brawl for a moment. An intense Shawn Michaels kneels at the top of the ramp as Raw goes off the air.
Good Raw.
Solid Raw. Solid Raw. But Brock Lesnar again. Raw's starting to turn into the Brock Lesnar show.
Yeah. It's now that I'm older, I understand why they're doing it. And back then, as a 12-year-old kid, it really didn't. I couldn't see the bigger picture. Yeah, I couldn't. I was just enjoying seeing Brock. At that time, I was well into Brock Lesnar. I was well into him. We're now going into the SmackDown August 22nd, 2002 edition. We kick off with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, and Heyman takes the mic and explains what Brock is, why Brock is the #1 box office attraction in the WWE. Heyman says that Brock is the biggest star in the history of SmackDown. Heyman talks about Brock Lesnar ending Hulk Hogan's career. Heyman says that Brock will do the same thing to Rock at SummerSlam. Heyman says that Brock wants Rock to have a little taste of SummerSlam tonight. Heyman says that Brock and Rock will collide before the night is through. Brock says he feels the same way he felt the night he fought Hulk Hogan. Brock says he's going to make Rock cry like a little bitch. So everybody's a little bitch at the moment.
Everyone's Rock's bitch at the minute.
Suddenly, the Rock's music and out comes the Undisputed Champion to the stage. Rock talks about his usual smack about Brock Lesnar. Brock says that tonight will be a night like no other. Rock says that since Brock refuses to bring it to The Rock, that The Rock will bring it to him. The crowd chants, "Rocky, Rocky, Rocky." Rock drops his belt, glasses and microphone and heads towards the ring. Suddenly, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit sneak up behind The Rock and attack him. Benoit puts the crossface on Rock and the ramp, and Heyman and Lesnar celebrate in the ring. So a great opener for SmackDown, I'd say.
Quite. I like the Benoit and Guerrero tandem again being pushed back together. I know obviously we saw them at Vengeance. Too much Rock again though. Too much Rock and Brock. This Rock and Brock match at SummerSlam better be fucking good because there's been so much build up across both shows.
I don't know. It's SummerSlam. Obviously, it's the second biggest show of WWE, and maybe the reason why they're pushing Brock to the moon is because they want to get those buy rates with him.
It's always got me that with SummerSlam. It's always seen as, in WWE's eyes, the second biggest show. Where I think in a lot of fans' eyes, I don't know about yourself, but me, I always class like Royal Rumble as a second.
Yeah. In fact, I class, to me personally, I class Royal Rumble as #1 for me. Mm-hmm. We're on to the tag team match, Hurricane and Shannon Moore versus Tajiri and Jamie Noble with Nidia. Moore and Helms wins when Shannon Moore pins the Cruiserweight champion Jamie Noble. After the match, a brawl starts up and Hurricane clears the ring by himself. Matt Hardy runs down to make the save, but this help is not needed. Matt celebrates with Hurricane and Moore, and like he had nothing to do with it. So we go backstage, Matt Hardy, Hurricane, Shannon Moore and Chavo Guerrero. Matt bragging about the reaction he got when he hit the ring. Matt's ego is getting out of control. Hurricane's at this only because he's a hometown boy. Matt Hardy goes on to the ring again to a decent reaction. Chavo Guerrero comes out and interrupts Matt Hardy. Chavo challenges Matt Hardy to a match. Oh, so does that mean Chavo's gone face?
It's looking that way.
Okay, so we go into the match. Near the end of the match, Kane's pyro hits for the second week in a row. Matt Hardy looks around, expecting Kane to appear. Chavo comes up behind Matt and rolls him up for the pin. Matt confronts the referee after the match. Matt says that everybody knows when an explosion goes off in the building, the match stops. Matt says that this is the biggest travesty since Bret Hart was screwed in Canada. So we go backstage, interview Michael Cole and Rey Mysterio. Rey says that he's looking forward to SummerSlam. Rey says that he pinned Angle 2 weeks ago, so he's proven that he can hang with the Olympic champion. Kurt steps in and mocks Rey's size. Kurt says he has a match with Billy Kidman and he's going to show Rey what is going to happen at SummerSlam. Kurt says that if Rey comes out to ring during this match, he'll break Rey's ankle. So we go on to Kurt Angle and Billy Kidman match. A few minutes into the match, Rey Mysterio pops up onto the stage. Kurt Angle is distracted by this and almost gets counted out. A few minutes later, Kidman hits a flying crossbody off the top rope to the outside. Angle eventually gets the ankle lock on Kidman, but Kidman counters. Kidman goes to shooting star press, but Angle belly to belly's Kidman off the top rope, which is an impressive feat in my opinion. Referee Brian Hedman gets knocked out. Angle brings a steel chair into the ring, but Kidman drop kicks it into Angle's head. Angle kicks out after 2. Angle hits the Angle Slam. Rey Mysterio comes out of nowhere and hits the West Coast Pop on Angle. Kurt Angle chases Rey around the ring and backstage. Kurt Angle gets counted out, giving Kidman the win. Kurt comes back to the ring and argues the call. Kurt goes after Kidman again, repeatedly punching him in the face. Kurt finishes Kidman off with the Angle Slam over the top rope. So poor Billy Kidman there. He's had a belly-to-belly off the top rope and an Angle Slam off the top rope.
And he's just nothing but a pawn in the feud between Angle and Mysterio.
Well, yeah, I would agree. So we go backstage again, The Rock and Edge. The Rock getting medical attention. Video package of Brock's workout regime. Rock talks with Edge about their match later. The Rock talks about fighting with sore ribs. The Rock says that he would still compete even if he lost a testicle. Well, where has that come from? Why would he even say that? Mate, that's obviously for a cheap pop, cheap laugh. It's made me laugh. I don't understand why he's referring to a testicle. The Rock does his stick in straight up the candy ass speech, but Edge completes the catchphrase. Okay, so we're going on to the women's title match. Molly Holly against Nydia with Jamie Noble. Nydia says that she'll flash the world. Nydia puts together her best match since joining the WWE. Not saying much, at least she's getting better. Molly picks up the win as the crowd boos loudly. Jamie Noble tells Nydia that she should give the people what they want anyway. Nydia smiles in approval and starts to take off her robe. Molly drop kicks Jamie Noble and falls into Nydia to break up the fun. So we don't get to see Nydia's boobies tonight. Okay, so we go to the main event. Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero versus The Rock and Edge. Brock Lesnar watching on a monitor backstage. So I can already tell what's going to happen here.
Yep.
The brawl starts early. Later in the match, Rock puts the sharpshooter on Benoit. Guerrero breaks up, but Rock sets Guerrero up and hits the people's elbow. Benoit pulls Rock outside the ring and throws him around. Soon after, Benoit puts the crossface on Rock in the middle of the ring. Rock finally gets to ropes to break the hold. Edge spears Guerrero and covers him for the pin. Brock Lesnar runs down and enters the ring. Edge and Rock stand face to face with Brock. Edge is willing to help his partner fight Brock. Rock signals for Edge to leave the ring. Edge pats Rock on the back. Rock and Brock come to blows. Rock nails Brock, sending him over the top rope. Heyman holds Brock back from re-entering the ring. SmackDown goes off the air.
So
that is telling me, going into SummerSlam, if I didn't know the results already, I would say The Rock's going to lose, purely for the fact that he's got the upper hand on the last show.
Yeah, that's always seems to be the formula, doesn't it? Where if you finish Raw strong, if you finish SmackDown strong, it generally means you're going to lose on the pay-per-view.
I never got that. Never understand why.
So that has been Raw and SmackDown from Vengeance up to SummerSlam.
Well, I think that overall, from the shows that we've been watching and that we've been talking about, I'm just really happy with them. It just shows that they put all the work in, and we're going to get a good SummerSlam. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reviewing SummerSlam. To be honest, it's one of my it's up there with one of my favourite pay-per-views. Apart from SummerSlam 2000, which I thought was slightly better, but it's up there definitely.
Yeah, I totally agree. Right then, people. So that is it. That has been episode 2. We've had to deliver it in 2 parts for you because we didn't want to bore you. We've been your hosts. I've been Dave.
And my name's been CJ.
Don't forget, we are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, fresh now on iTunes. Like us, share us, follow us, rate and review, subscribe. Comment. We're everywhere, people. We absolutely love the support you're giving us, and we love doing this. So until next time, as I say, my name's been Dave.
And my name's been CJ.
Peace out, people.